Hey book lovers, my September was packed with so many good reads. How was yours?
I had, not all, but lots of good reads too.
Okay, good.
Harder time picking my favorite out.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah. Today we're wrapping it all up. We're going to be doing a quick mini summaries of each of the books that we finished.
Yep. Then we're going to try to categorize them kind of, I don't know if superlatives is the right term, but we're going to try, instead of guessing each other's favorites and least favorites, we're going to try to put these books into categories based off of these
word of the day,
little
superlative.
Well, yeah, but I don't know that they are superlatives. So we're gonna put these books into playful categories like,
there we go.
Like unreliable narrator or most likely to recommend, that kind of thing. So.
And then she just introduced me to the New York Times connection game.
Yeah.
So she has put together a connection game of the books that she read for me to play.
Welcome back to Espresso Shots and Epic Plots. I'm Genevieve.
And I'm her mom, Diana.
Grab your favorite fall beverage
and join us to talk about books.
The first book that I finished this month was The Dungeon Anarchist's Cookbook by Matt Dinniman. So this is the third in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Dungeon Crawler
Yes.
Carl.
Here's my two-sentence summary. We did 2 sentences this time. Carl and Princess Donut enter the 4th floor of the dungeon known as the Iron Tangle, a deadly and complicated train system where they must form, sometimes tenuous, alliances with other crawlers to solve the floor's impossible puzzle and survive a bounty placed on their heads. Despite the chaos and competition, they continue to cling to their humanity by choosing to help others rather than sacrifice them for survival.
Oh, the very first book that I read was A Psalm for the Wild-Built by Becky Chambers. And this is a gentle tale of hope and discovery about a tea monk named Sibling Dex and a curious robot named Mosscat. And they form an unlikely companionship. They are journeying across Panga, seeking answers to what people truly need and what it means to live a meaningful life.
I read that one too.
It was a thinker.
Yeah, it was.
That was my novella too.
The next book I read was Harrow the Ninth, which is the second in the Locked Tomb series by Tamsin Muir. So this is a newly ascended, unstable lictor, which is a fancy word for like a knight. Think of it like a knight.
Okay.
So a newly ascended, unstable lictor, Harrowhark Nonogenesis, joins the Emperor and the other surviving lictors in space to fight a millennia-old war against monstrous resurrection beasts, all while her mind is actively rewriting her past. Harrow must battle not only her enemies, but also her own rapidly deteriorating grasp on reality and the unsettling mysteries that surround her new role.
My second book was A Day Like This by Kelly McNeil. This is a heart-wrenching exploration of memory, loss, and the fragile line between hope and delusion. Annie, the main character, wakes from a car accident to discover that her daughter no longer exists, and to the people around her, never did. And the love of her devoted husband is lost. She embarks on a disorienting search for truth behind the haunting pull of her little girl, Hannah.
Is Hannah her daughter that doesn't exist anymore?
Basically, okay. Yes.
Okay. The next book that I read this month was Mort by Terry Pratchett. So this is part of the Discworld series. It's the first book in what's known as the Death series. A young man named Mort becomes Death's apprentice, learning the ins and outs of guiding souls to the afterlife. But when he lets personal feelings interfere with duty, he discovers that altering fate has dangerous and far-reaching consequences.
Ah, yes. My third book was West with Giraffes by Linda Rutledge. This book is inspired by the true story set in Depression-era 1938 America about a scrappy Dust Bowl survivor, Woodrow Woody Nickel, and he lands a driving job with the gruff zookeeper, Riley Jones, and along the way, they are joined by Augusta Red Lowe, a determined young photojournalist. The trio transports 2 giraffes all the way from New York to the San Diego Zoo. It's a remarkable journey that transforms them all and captures the imagination of a weary nation.
The last book that I read this month was The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. Following a mysterious murder on the eve of the Emperor's successor trials, brilliant but socially outcast High Scholar Nima Kra is unexpectedly thrust into the competition for the throne, while simultaneously tasked with solving the very crime that put her there. Juggling the deadly, intricate trials with a desperate murder investigation, Nima must uncover a web of palace intrigue and generational secrets before the entire empire and her own life is destroyed.
The fourth book I read is called Crow Mary by Kathleen Grissom. This is also based on a true 19th century figure, Crow Mary, whose real name was Goes First. She was a young Crow woman who marries a white fur trader, Abe Farewell, as she journeys from her Montana homeland into the heart of the frontier and all of its conflicts. Her courage, loyalty, and resilience shape her relationship with Abe, her Crow kin, and the settlers along the way, and as she struggles to defend her people and preserve her identity in the rapidly changing world.
I don't have any more, so the rest of these are yours.
The fifth book I read was The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. This is where a bookseller, Cassie Andrews, inherits a strange leather-bound volume called The Book of Doors from a deceased customer. She and her roommate, Izzy, are plunged into a dangerous world of magical volumes. Guided by the mysterious Drummond Fox, Cassie is pursued by the sinister woman and power-hungry collectors who are bent on using the book's abilities to turn any door into every door for their own ends. The last book I read was How Does That Make You Feel, Magda Eklund by Anna Montague. This book was about a 70-year-old psychiatrist, Magda Eklund, as she sets off on a road trip with her recently deceased best friend Sarah's ashes by her side to keep Sarah's last birthday surprise. Along the way, Magda unpacks long-buried secrets about herself, reckons with her identity, and learns it's never too late to have a new chapter in your life.
All right. Okay, now we have to try to remember these 10 books.
Those were a bunch.
It was less than our last one, but that's okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna talk about why I only read 4 later on, because I almost felt bad about it, but when you see the size of the books that I read,
I can imagine.
It's gonna make
sound
sense. So,
like hugely fleshed out worlds and generations.
Yes. Instead of guessing favorite and least favorite, I thought this time I'm gonna give you a prompt and you're gonna have to try to guess which one of my books meets that prompt, that category, okay? So the first one is gonna be more about like the way the book was written, like the structural,
format.
Exactly. Of my 4 books, Mort, Dungeon Crawler Carl IV, The Raven Scholar, and Harrow the Ninth.
Which one was the one, the guy helping death?
That's Mort.
That's Mort,
So Mort is the Death's Apprentice. Harrow is the lictor, the knight who's fighting resurrection beasts for the Emperor. The Raven Scholar is the High Scholar with the murder. She has to try to solve the murder and be in the trials at the same time. Which ones do you think had the biggest plot twist? You can just say the plot of the book if that makes it easier.
the one where the woman ascends to a throne and has to figure out the murder in the process of her ascent.
So that's the Raven Scholar. So she's in the trial to ascend, for like the trial of people ascending. Yeah, you're dead on. That book had not just one plot twist, but it was like plot twist after plot twist after plot twist, and it's like,
well, especially when you're doing a murder mystery, there usually is a lot of plot twists.
I cannot explain how, like, when you hear the plot of this book, it sounds like any other book that you might read, and it is not. Not at all. It is like, do you remember in school reading Greek tragedies?
No, that was another thing we never did.
Never read Greek? Okay.
No.
So Greek tragedies are always, and there's probably some Shakespeare that's written like this too, where you're seeing the play, but there's always like a chorus off to the side, like narrators.
Okay.
That's the way this book is written.
Oh, wow.
Where you're in the plot and you're in different people's heads at different times, but then there's also these unique narrators that pop in every once in a while and tell you things as if you're an outsider. So in this book, you go into the book and then you kind of come out of the story sometimes. But on top of that, or because of that, you learn all of these things at different times, and it's just like leading to all of these twists.
That's
so
interesting.
It was very twisty.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Of the ones that I read,
can you remember all the ones you read?
Yes, I do. I do. Which book do you think did the best job of capturing the language and the slang and the clothing and all of that?
Okay, so you had A Song of the Wild Bill, The Book of Doors. I know those because I read those. Crow Mary.
West with Giraffes.
West with Giraffes. And then the one about the woman
How Does That Make You Feel?
How Does That Make You Feel, Meg Declan. And then the one about the woman.
A Day Like This.
Okay,
yes,
A Day Like This. Okay.
Like
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to lean towards either West with Giraffe or Crow Mary, and I'm gonna guess Crow Mary had the best accurate dialect.
Yes, I've done a lot of studying about the Native American cultures and that, but I learned a little thing, and I see it now still. They never point. It's considered very poor form. She and her husband are laying out on the ground, and he starts pointing at the stars, and she grabs his hand and is like, you do not point at the sacred lights in the skies and stuff.
Okay.
But what they do is that.
Oh, they point with
and I see
their mouth.
Latin Americans tend to still do that. I see that every now and then in some other cultures. They still point with their mouth. Like, and she talked about that.
Okay.
She talked about the pemmican, and she talked about the clothing. He keeps trying to Americanize her. When the Native American women married the white men, they didn't want to use their Native American name in the religious ceremony, so they named them all Mary. Because Mary was Catholic name, and she was part of the Crow tribe, so they named her Crow Mary. And whenever somebody said, oh, they're civilizing you, or they're making a white woman out of you yet, she would look at them and she'd be like, I am Crow Mary.
Okay.
So she was very adamant about her heritage. Yes.
Which one of my books do you think had the most unique format, like written in a unique way?
In a unique way. It's a toss-up between The Knight and the Death's...
Oh, Mort. Death's Apprentice, and then when you say the lictor,
the lictor,
Harrow, Harrow the Ninth. Okay.
Harrow the Ninth. That was just a mouthful. So I'm going to guess that one had the most unique format.
It did.
Your summaries or synopses are so good.
No, that one, it's unique because it's part of a trilogy, and it's the second book in a trilogy, and they are all written completely differently. Like you would almost think they were written by different authors.
Oh, wow.
So the first one,
glib.
Glib's a good way. She's a very glib, nonchalant, rogue kind of person. And then the second one, the main character, is very straight and narrow. But I would say for the first 25 plus, maybe even 30% of the book, you have no idea what's going on. You have to be really committed to reading this book.
I'd probably DNF that.
Some people do because of that. I knew that it was supposed to be like that, and a lot of people were like, just get through it and it will all make sense. I kind of wish I was annotating, and I kind of wish that I wasn't annotating because I kept looking for things I was never going to figure out. I think it would have been an easier read if I had not been annotating, if I had not been trying to find things. A lot of people read this book and then turn around and immediately read it again. At about 50%, there's enough of a storyline going on that you're at least hooked in the story. You still have an unreliable narrator, but there's a story that you can connect to, and it's not until the last 25% that you really know what's going on.
Together.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, which one of the books that I read do you believe had the longest character journey?
Okay, meaning
the most where the protagonist's worldview was developed.
Oh, my gut goes to, is it A Day Like This? Is that what that's called? The one where because you always have a different view if you get to see your life differently. Like, you appreciate things differently. I mean, I could see the West with the Giraffes also being like that, and honestly, with Magda Ucklin, you also said she completely changed her life by the end. Ooh, okay, hold on. Now I'm between A Day Like This and Magda Uckland. Okay, I'm going to go with the Magda Uckland because, am I saying it right?
Eklund.
Eklund,
That's
okay.
close enough.
Because of your summary. You basically said she really changed her life even though she was in her 70s by the end.
That's an interesting take on it, but no.
Oh, dang it.
You were closer in West with Giraffes is the one that I thought about it because Woody Nickel was orphaned in a hurricane. The truth of the story is there was the first female zookeeper was in the San Diego Zoo.
Nice.
She had 4 giraffes shipped from Africa across the ocean and a hurricane hit. So only 2 of the giraffes survived. They were young. It was a male and a female. So it was a big deal. The United States did not have giraffes to see.
Okay.
And so Woody, his parents, his whole family, he was in the Dust Bowl. They were dirt poor. Terrible, terrible ending. But he ends up being an orphan, partly because of the Dust Bowl, partly because of the hurricane, partly because of just, it was a terrible life. And he heads to New Jersey because that's the only family that he has, some cousin. I think he's 16 or 17. Yeah.
Okay.
And he gets there and his cousin's like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. I got enough problems on my hand because it is Depression era as well. The driver of the giraffes, he can't drive because he's got a broken arm.
Okay,
and it's a big truck with a gear shifter and everything.
Yeah.
So Woody convinces him that he is the best truck driver. He could drive anything. He could keep the engine running. All of it's a lie.
Yeah.
But he figures it out along the way. And Red is an unusual female photojournalist. Everywhere they go, they are being splashed on the news. But Woody grows into it. It takes them months to go across the country. They have to drive back through the Dust Bowl and they have to keep the giraffes alive while this is happening. And the giraffes lived a good long life and had babies, and I think there might be descendants of the giraffes still.
So it's a coming of age kind of story.
Yeah. So I think that's he grows up on the road in this very unique experience. So that was my choice for that one.
So now let's talk about vibe and tone of the book. Of my books, which one do you think had what I'm going to call Monty Python vibes?
Well, that's got to be the dungeon crawler because Princess Donut always has some attitude. No.
It's not. I mean, that one is funny. That one is hilarious, but I would not call it Monty Python humor.
Okay.
So Mort by the part of the Discworld series is basically a 8-hour Monty Python skit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, which is honestly, I was not a fan. I'm still gonna read some other ones in the Discworld series. The Discworld series is like 42 books.
Why is it called the Discworld?
Because it's about a flat world on the back of a turtle that's being carried by 4 elephants.
Okay.
And it's basically a giant satire for politics. And so there's
like Monty Python.
Yes, exactly. So there's like the Wizard series, and the Witches is another like sub-series, and Death is another sub-series. There's the Guards is a sub-series. I was told by the internet to not start with the first one because that was like his first, like his writing got better as he went. I have the first in the Witch series and then Death, and then there's another one called Small Gods. I'm gonna try each of them. Have you ever watched a Monty Python skit that went on for too long?
Yeah.
Like that's what the book felt like. I mean, it was just kind of like it had a lot of really funny lines in it, but it was a little too much for me. Like, it's not even that long of a book. It was the shortest book I read this month.
Okay,
it needed to be a novella, which I never say that. I normally say it the other way around.
Okay, so which of mine do you think had the most profound message?
Mostly because I've read it, I felt like a Psalm for the Wild Bill was like the number of quotes that I actually wrote down because I wanted to remember from that book was like, I loved that book.
That's a good, and it's a quickie, quick read, and it's done as an analogy. I didn't even realize when I started listening to it that it was a novella.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like getting into it, and it's like, what do you mean mean we're done?
Yeah.
I'm feeling so good now.
There is a second one if you want to continue the novella. It was good. It wasn't as good. I liked the first one. But I mean, it was still, I don't remember what I rated it. I want to say I gave A Psalm for the Wild but like 4.5, and I probably gave the second one like a 4 or like a 3.75. Like, it's good. I'm glad you like that one.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. It's been a while since I read one of those.
Yeah. Which of mine do you think that had the most treacherous setting?
Well, that's got to be the one with the Death's Apprentice, I would think.
Okay, Mort.
Mort, yeah, because I mean it's death and dying, and nobody knows, so it's all anybody's guess what's happening, and you said that he manipulates it a little bit, and that's got to screw things up. I mean,
no, that one doesn't have the most treacherous. In fact, death in that one, he's like, well, these people die even if I'm there or not. You know, he's like, it'd be weird if people died without me being there.
Okay,
so no, it's not that one.
Okay, which one was it then?
Dungeon Crawler. Carl.
Dungeon Crawler. That's going to be my next guess.
Because so all of the floors have a different theme, and this one, they're always on a train. I mean, not always, but for the most part, they're always on either a train or a subway, or it's constantly moving.
Okay.
If they get off the train, they have to battle somebody. If they get in certain cars of trains, there's sometimes monsters there. And
treachery and treacherousness.
There was a lot of treachery in all of the books that I read, though, so that was a difficult one, sorry.
Of the ones that I read, which one do you think had the most evocative detail and that you could really feel like you were...
One that you felt like you were there.
Yeah.
Let me think here. I got to think of what you read again. Well, I read The Book of Doors, and that one, I mean, it's good, but no evocative detail really stood out to me. I guess maybe some travel detail, because she goes to different countries. You did talk about how accurate they were with Crow Mary. Well, and I'm assuming A Day Like This in Magda Eklund was not about evocative detail and imagery. That's not the point of the book. So I'm down to either Crow Mary or West with Giraffes. I'm going to say Crow Mary again, because she did like good research, it sounds like.
I mean, both of those books. West with Giraffes was interesting. Again, to me, it was sort of like Forrest Gump-ish, because at one point they ran into a circus, and the circus guy wanted the giraffe. They go through the building of the roads and the bridges, and, you know, some of the infamous bridges were going up. So there was a lot of interesting things going on at that time, but weirdly enough, it was A Day Like This.
Really?
It sounds like the most innocuous book. My mom called me up. She's like, "You've got it's the narrator."
Read this? Oh, I didn't know that.
It's the narrator, and she's like, the book is good, but the narrator, and I'm listening to it, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, she's kind of making this voice or that voice, and then, can we spoiler alert?
We can skip ahead if you want to.
This book touches upon the concept of alternate realities happening all at the same time. And her car wreck, this is the way I interpret it. She touches upon that, but it also could be brain damage. The concept I got out of it was she was thrown out of her current reality in the wreck. So is
it like Dark Matter by Blake Crouch? That's the one where he gets kidnapped and taken to another one of his
reality.
Yeah, another reality.
I suppose. I mean, in the reality that she's thrown into, she has never had this daughter.
Oh, wow.
And she and her husband have broken up because she was pregnant, but she lost the baby.
Miscarriage.
Miscarried. Yes, she miscarried. But in her reality, she had a 5-year-old daughter and a beautiful life in this New York City suburb. And there's points in the book where she is actually getting glimpses of other realities. And it's interesting because they did say that the house that they were living in was haunted, and they would see things, and in the end you find out it was her mother that they were seeing, because her mother was able to merge in and out of these different realities.
So this is like a sci-fi book almost.
It was. But the narrator was, this woman deserves whatever an Emmy or Oscar
whatever the
is
narrator version is. I'm sure there is something.
She did a phenomenal job. which ones do you think made me most angry?
Is it more
and
than
frustrated?
one? So I win no matter what. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Okay,
You have the discussion, and then I'll
Okay,
tell
most
you.
frustrating social norms. Okay, so not A Psalm for the Wild Built. There was nothing. It was like the coziest book that ever cozied.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Crow Mary was like it was actually a positive one. So I'm gonna.
No, I wouldn't say it was positive.
It was mostly. It was not the worst situation that somebody could be in. Maybe no, I don't know. Okay, I'm guessing not that one. Sorry. I know Book of Doors. It's like a modern day time. That leaves me with Magda Eklund, A Day Like This, and West with Giraffes, which West with Giraffes is about a bunch of dudes. And I would also think, though, A Day Like This, I mean, that's basically a giant book about being gaslit. Like, gaslighting is always frustrating.
True.
But that's kind of the point of the book. Am I forgetting one? Oh, Magda Eklund. We haven't talked about Magda Eklund a lot. And she is a 70-year-old psychiatrist, and so she's a woman, and she's older, so there's some ageism in there. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that one.
That's
okay.
It was Magda Eklund.
Okay.
She's gay.
That's what I kind of figured based on your summary.
And her best friend, whose ashes are with her, was who she loved all her life. But her best friend was married to this man who, within a year, is in love with somebody else and says, "Here, my new wife doesn't want my old wife's ashes around, so here."
Oh, you figure it out.
The most of the story is her taking this road trip
I
with
kind
her.
of assumed from your summary that was what she's figuring out.
I mean, she never really comes out and says it until the very, very end.
But you kind of,
she never really comes out until the very, very end.
As the reader, you know that's what's going on, though, early on, would you say?
I did, but it also... Again, I listened to it, and it was narrated by Cynthia Nixon.
Oh, that was the one.
I love.
Yeah.
But I hated her narration of it.
So don't do that one as an audiobook, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that was my least favorite book. This book was just read like...
It's dry.
It was just droning on and on and on, and Magna and...
Is it, I'm assuming it's early on in the book that you get frustrated by the fact that her husband is like, you figure this out. My new wife doesn't want my old wife's ashes.
Well, no, I get frustrated at Magda.
Okay.
Because, I mean, come on, Magda, come out.
Oh, like she was pushing back from it too.
She was, and she was a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
Right,
you would think she would have gone through all of that. I do know psychiatrists oftentimes become psychiatrists because of their own personal trauma.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
It was like she didn't even come out to herself for a long time.
Okay, I got it. So there's 4 clues for each of the 4 books that I read.
Well, that's so. Can I move these?
It's not a touch screen. You always think you don't move them. You
I click
them, and then you have to pick the 4 that go with each book.
All right. So your favorite book?
Yeah.
These are the books you just talked about.
Yeah. I tried not to make it obvious.
Your favorite one.
Okay. So then you have to pick the ones that characters. Some of these are.
Television series. Oh, it's that one. Thinking any of them?
Well, 2 of those.
We're in a hurry. Chef's hat. We're talking about the cookbook. We're going to be here all night, folks.
What do you think was my least favorite book?
All right, your least favorite book was... Oh, they're going to murder a curry. Okay, yeah.
This one's murder a curry.
Oh, I can murder a curry. Okay, so it's the 200.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so
there's a character over here that keeps it.
Was it the same? Was it Vicky?
Try Vicky.
Yes.
So I suck at these games. They're pretty high.
Yeah. Which two did I have right? Did I get that one wrong? I had that and that, I think.
Try to.
I don't know what the chef's hat though. Seems like it would be.
Okay, now you're one away.
So I changed a couple things. That. I'm not sure which one of these. Maybe that. Maybe this.
Right.
At least I have unlimited.
Oh, now you're still one away.
I was kind of like, I should have been paying attention. I'm still going to be. Wait. All right, that. I know, that. Okay. Must be this. That was painful, but that was fun. Okay.
At first I was like, man, I only read 4 books, but then I counted it up. It was over 1,900 pages, and the audiobooks for all of these together was close to 70 hours of audio. So even though it was only four books, most of them are chunkers. Mort was by far the shortest book. That it was like a regular size book, and the rest of them are these like behemoths. And so I gave myself, I felt bad for a minute, and then I was like, no. This is about what I normally read. It sounds like you have started reading some of the stuff from our golf game.
I did. Yeah. My next one is Blood Over Bright Haven.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, which you've already read.
I know, but I can't wait for you to read that one because I want to know, what do you have on deck for October? Do you have a plan?
Well, I still have a couple of my, I think,
we had 9. So hopefully you have it read.
So I still have a couple of those, but I know, the Rogue Protocol, Blood Over Bright Haven, and then the other one that came in was the Reformatory.
Well, that's going to be a good one for Halloween.
So the 3 that I have checked out right now on Libby, the Reformatory, Blood Over Bright Haven, and Rogue Protocol.
I'm curious to see if you like the Reformatory, because it is a horror, but it is considered horror. People rave about the Reformatory, and people told me I should read it. So
it sounds like
you have to tell me.
It'll be a good Halloween. I get in the Halloweeny mood too. We start watching some horror movies like Hocus Pocus, and
I get to still watch Hocus Pocus because I have a 10-year-old. I plan to read. So these were all from our golf game. I plan to read Shake Off the Ghosts by Miranda Newfield, because I thought that sounded like a good October one. Someone you can build a nest in, and then I'm going to do Hemlock and Silver. They're all from our golf game, but I thought they would be the best October ones. The Incandescent, which is right up there, and then Murder at Spindle Manor.
So that's our September wrap. So many stories, so many books, so little time. I can't believe we're already on the 9th month of the year.
Well, it's over. It's the 10th month. So some of those guesses were trickier than I expected, and some of them were spot on, which was good. I was hoping that you didn't get them all this time. I'm glad I stumped you by reading all of the exact same. I gotta
win somewhere.
I know. If I read all of the exact same type of book, it makes it hard. So drop your thoughts in the comments. How would some of the books that you read shape up? What categories would they fit into? And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next wrap up.
All right, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon. And then you.
Oh, it's me. Okay.
I don't know.
Commit to getting in my lap. Make up your mind, cat. Sorry.
Okay.
Harrowhark Nonogenesis.
Harry.
Actually, one of the characters in the book calls her Harry as a joke. She doesn't like it. She's not a fan. Okay.
About a scrappy Dust Bowl survivor named Woodrow Woody Wilson Nickel.
No.
I'm sorry.
That's the president.
I know. He was named after the president, Woodrow Wilson, but his last name is...
Right.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry, it's okay. That was funny.
Read, low, and determined... Oh, God. How did you say what you said? I can't get anything.
You wrote this, didn't you?
I know.
Don't write such complicated sentences.
Okay. Your cat's moving the...
I think he's moving the computer, but the camera...
no,
did the camera move? Cheddar! Hold on. Okay, your toy